I saw a few things that you were running around. What was the most difficult part of today?
There was a challenging situation with a student from one of our centers, right? We know him and we know that from his BIP and his FBA, the challenges that he has, right? So we had to provide a lot of support for him. How about you?
It's been the whole week. It's been just thinking about strategy. I yesterday visited another high school, and I was learning about the systems they have over there for student culture, for behavior, and that's when I emailed you and I connected you with the AP over there. I've just been thinking a lot about what the culture of the school looks like here, and target that culture from all aspects. So this conversation with you is just to think about what is the status of our student culture at the school and how teachers see students' behavior. But I'm also thinking about the instructional culture, adult culture, the staff. How can we create the conditions for a school this big where everybody feels excited to come? So yeah, I'm doing great. I'm tired. I've been putting long days, as you know, because I've seen you here long hours too. But it's the kind of work that I just enjoy. Like I go home exhausted, but it's like a good tired. I am challenged. Things are hard. Some days are like, whoa, I don't have any more hair to lose. So I'm good on that end.
Or mine is white, so it's turning even whiter.
But I just find myself in the grind. This is hard. I knew I signed up for this. I like it. I'm falling in love with people, with the kids, with the leadership that you guys bring. So it's good, man.
No, I agree with that. I think that I am with you. I go home tired, extremely tired, but it's exciting work, right? And every day is different. It's like a chapter of a novela. Every day, it's a new day.
Yeah.
You don't know 2 days are alike. So that keeps things interesting and exciting.
How has this year been for you with regards to the vision for behavior, student culture, discipline?
Well, we did a lot of work during the July retreat, leadership retreat, aligning systems and working on systems, refining systems for previous years, and we had a strong start.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, we had a strong start. We had barely any fights in the months of August and September. I believe there's no fights in August. Maybe one in September, and then we had an optical behavior late October, early November. But the alignment for restorative practices and the new discipline matrix that came out this year that the district released, that is available on the website. I mean, we align all those behaviors with restorative practices, discipline matrix, and I think it's been successful in the way that we've reduced the amount of ISS and OSS as opposed to last year. Last year we had around this time we have 42. Out of
What is an
suspensions.
ISS and an OSS?
ISS is internal suspension, which the district is leaning heavily towards because it keeps our students in school and reduces the amount of instructional time. In an ISS, our team can control the access that students have to their learning and at least to the work that they're missing, as opposed to an out-of-school suspension, in which often kids are sitting at home, sleeping, playing video games, or not engaging with the work.
Yeah.
When we have ISS, there's a higher engagement from students through Schoology and through their computers. So that's what the district is pushing for, and that's what we are align our strategies to, to reduce that loss of instructional time.
Yeah. The other part of ISS is OSS, which is out of school suspension.
Correct.
And that's when you feel that you don't have as much control of what kids do because you send them home.
Correct.
But there are some times where you have to send them home.
Absolutely.
Right? Like when they're
Absolutely. Because we there are some behaviors that we're not going to tolerate. Right? If a student is involved in a fight, for example, it immediately gets 2 days of internal suspension. So that's 2 days of ISS. But if a student was to engage again in the same type of behavior, right, then now the matrix and the policy dictates that now it becomes an OSS, which is an out-of-school suspension, right?
Yeah.
In addition to now a more multi-team approach in which the student, is going to be connected to mental health, restorative practices, parent meeting, bringing the parent to try to determine what's going on at home and why is the student exhibiting these type of behaviors at school.
Yeah. one of the things that I was inspired by yesterday, we talked about this earlier, is how can we have the highest possible expectations for our students' behavior? And when we raise the bar higher and when we grow by design, when we become Lancers by design, I like to think about designing the profile of the Lancer we want to have. I'm excited to start this initiative with you, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to record this message for the staff, because I want to share with everyone that we're working really hard on setting those expectations for our boys and girls. So when they come to Lincoln, they know that they have to have academic achievement, but also a behavioral achievement, if you will call it that way. So I'm excited to start working with you on those one-on-one conversations with families. We will begin calling those students who are showing the most difficult behaviors and having those conversations with mom, dad, or whoever is at home to, I don't like the idea of punitive or making kids, criminal. Like, I like to move away from that, but I do want to stick to, but I expect things of you. We are going to behave, and we're going to be part of this community by being, excellent Lancers. And we as Latinos, as minorities, we owe it to each other and to our own culture, our own familias to know that, hey, we can achieve whatever we want in life as long as we stay focused. So perhaps starting next week or maybe after Thanksgiving break, we're going to begin having those conversations with each of our families.
As a matter of fact, those conversations have begun. Okay, we've already have at least 5 to 6 parents coming in and having those conversations, right? And we talked about earlier today during our one-on-one meeting. I will invite you to the next 3 that we're going to have next week. The students, additional students that we have to schedule meetings for. So you'll be invited. But these conversations, and I agree, it's not only punitive. It's just holding these students to high expectations, and at the same time working with families and see how they're going to support us, right? How we can partner up with them and support the students, so they can exhibit high expectations as far as behavior goes, instructional, and attendance.
Yeah.
Which is our...
Yeah, attendance is a rough one. We started really well. Our district expectations is 85, and we stayed above 85 until the last couple of weeks.
Correct.
Yeah, this week we came down a little bit. But okay, so I know that we are obviously working with there's a lot of difficult behaviors, and there are things that it drives me crazy. When teachers are in the middle of class, and we see the kids just going to the hallways and hanging out in the bathroom, using their cell phones. And that's a battle that we are just fighting. But I also know that there are outstanding classrooms, and they're really, really cool. I told the student council that I see a lot of pockets of awesomeness, where I see classrooms where things are happening in a beautiful way, a great community. What classrooms, what teachers do you see that are absolutely rocking it?
Well, I'm going to use my cheat sheet because as we were thinking about this, right, there are multiple classrooms that they're exhibiting these high expectations, clear rituals and routines. Crussell, Mr. Crussell.
Mr. Crussell?
Mr. Crussell,
shout out to him.
shout out Mr. Crussell. Miss Sproul,
Miss Renee Sproul?
Renee Sproul, Greg Gallegos.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg, staple here at Lincoln, right? All guys are all faithful, all reliable. Justin Hester over there on the side,
the
other side of the building. Miss Ana Barco. It's awesome to see how she builds those relationships with those new to country kids and how she teaches them math. Jocelyn Garcia. Going to her classroom and immediately you feel warmth in your heart, right? Because that classroom is set up for kids, to feel welcome and reflected. Miss Curry, Megan Curry, ceramics. Emily Knight, right? Awesome projects, awesome hands-on experience that they're providing to the students. Velasco, robotics, and staying after school to get these kids prepared. Miss Calvo, and then our 2 center teachers, Miss Lengua and Mr. Hoshel.
Michael?
Michael Hoshel. And Ashley Lengua, which is new this year, and it's awesome to see the work that she's doing with some of these kids, with all of our kids, center. So,
I agree. I believe I've been in all of their classes. I think so. I right now have Miss Barco's class. I walked into her class with Manpreet, and we were observing her math lesson. And I loved it. She had a really nice lesson plan. She was following great pacing, the use of academic language. And I think that was on a Tuesday. And then on a Wednesday, I went to an instructional rounds, which is a meeting that they do with other principals to other buildings. And the other building was showing a math lesson that was the same lesson that Ms. Barco was teaching. And that building leader was super proud of that math lesson. And I was observing it, and I was like, Ms. Barco's lesson was way better. So I walk away very proud of her because I was able to see what she taught in another school, and she was bringing the bar super high.
Yeah, and the way that she uses those cell phone pockets, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that the cell phone needs to go in there, but she has calculators, and the kids go up to the front, exchange the cell phone for a calculator, and then they just go back at the end and then just exchange it, right? So I think that's very clear expectations and routines for that classroom. I mean, she does.
Yeah, she has a plan. That's what I enjoy the most. What other trends or what trends do you see in common in all those classrooms that you mentioned that make you believe that they're exemplary classrooms?
Yeah, it's just very structured classrooms, right? Very structured classroom, very welcoming classroom. You can tell that the teachers take the time to build relationships with the kids, to get to know the kids, and stay consistent with the expectations, right? It's hard. Let's go back to the cell phone policy. It's very hard to get our youth disconnected from these policies, but day in and day out, they are reminding, right? They're not going to let the kids tire them out.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to remind these students that these are the expectations of Lincoln High School, and that they need to be putting those devices away. Right?
That's the thing about cell phones policies, that we have the policy, we know that they're not allowed, students are not allowed to use them in the classroom and so on, but when teachers have different expectations, so kids go from one classroom to the other, and I walk in the hallway, and some hallways, the door says, no cell phones allowed. And then in the next door, the kid walks out of the room with the headphones and the cell phones on, and it's this like roller coaster of mixed expectations that make teachers do that to each other, I would say. And we as leaders also fighting the battle, calibrating expectations based on what is happening in every classroom.
And not only on you mentioned that you've seen in classrooms that they have like no cell phones on doors. They even have it on their PowerPoints and their presentations, in every slide, you say no cell phones allowed, no cell phones allowed, or at least at the beginning, to the middle, no cell phones allowed, and they just circulate. And we will support. Yeah, I mean, teachers. I want teachers to know that the SAO student advisor, the RPs, myself, they have our full support, right? If they need those interventions with cell phone contracts or those interventions with like collecting cell phones, we want to be partners with them. Right? And I want them to reach out to us through email, Google Chats, dialing 0, and for us to respond to those behaviors, especially if a kid has a cell phone contract and they're not following it.
Yep. We also have amazing kids, man. I have had the privilege of doing some workouts with our OTC kids. I go outside and play baseball with the Venezuelan kids.
I've seen you.
Dude,
you got whooped.
I got my fun.
You got whooped.
We lost like 25-2. I'm in love with these kids, man. Some of them drive me crazy, but I love them all.
Well, yeah.
And there are kids who are out. Which kids come to mind when you think of like these amazing Lancers? Which kids come to mind to you?
I mean, there's so many, right? Because like you mentioned, JROTC, they're doing amazing things there, and those kids you see them always volunteering for events and after-school events, and you see them facilitating for parents. But then you go to robotics, you go to ceramics, you go to our new-to-country kids, like and you start building relationships with them. I know you play baseball with them. I play basketball, and yesterday me and Coach Ray were playing basketball, and it's cool because they don't know the rules, and you get to like bend them a little bit. And you just get to know them in a different light, right? Not the structured classroom, but just outside and just having fun.
There are a bunch of them, I cannot think of. When I think of the, what's up, Lynette?
Amen.
Amen. So I've been staying, as you know, I've been staying after school a lot, and the cheer crew, those girls are amazing. My younger boys are doing wrestling, so that wrestling crew is amazing too. But yeah, I like to keep a balance between what's hard and what's difficult about this job, and also what is fun. So I always try to find a mix of the fun among the difficult. And you're your job as an AP in charge of discipline, the mental health, all those things, you're always on the fire. You're like always responding in the hallways. How do you take care of yourself? So when the day is over and so today you were chasing someone, making sure they were safe on Federal and Evans, and the police officer came and helped you, and the kid ended up being safe. But that's not unusual for you. You're always, if there is a fight, you are the one who have to respond. If there is whatever happens, you're always there on the fire, on the difficult things. How do you take care of yourself when you're back home and you come the next day?
Well, you see me, I stay here often late. Some of those days I go work out, right? I think fitness for me, or like engaging in some sort of physical activity, is always good. I used to play basketball, but since the knee, I have to stop playing. But now tennis, I joined with my wife. We did a tennis class, and we do that. I just spend time with family, eating out, good sense of humor. You just have to, all the time. Sometimes you just have to make fun of yourself, and because this job is, like you said, is hard, but you cannot let it consume you, right? You just have to sometimes just relax. Think of other stuff.
So
Will is amazing, by the way. He's the
champ.
staff member that has the most steps in the whole school, because he's by the end of the day, he's got 30,000 steps.
He puts 28,000 steps
at least
average.
Every day, 20 to 25,000 steps. Yeah, he's just amazing. Thank you, Will.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's great. Every day you have reasons to be grateful and reasons to be mad. So I'm living in the mix of things, but I try to keep the balance towards gratefulness.
How do you do it? Because I saw your calendar the other day, and you shared it with me, and I told you it gave me anxiety. I mean, I saw that all those colors, and I just had to turn it off.
It is a lot. The days are very long. I try to think of the human that I'm about to meet. So my day goes difficult conversations, fun conversations, strategic conversation, visioning conversation, boring conversations. But there is a thread of humanity with every person. I meet with you, I meet with teachers, I meet with parents, with kids, virtual meetings. And I just try to see how can I be of service for them. And it's hard, but similar to you, I try to exercise, eat healthy, try to do a lot of meditation. And when a day sucks, when a day is like, God damn it, I hate it today, I cannot go to bed without thinking something good have to have happened today. So I have to, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm wired that way since I was younger. Probably because of my own
that
story.
guy over there?
Cumpleañero.
Cumpleaños?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's turning 16. So, yeah, man, I just try to find the positive. There's always something positive, even when things are really hard. So.
And when it's really, really hard, Andrea Bocelli, I play some Andrea Bocelli, and he does the trick.
Yeah. I drink some old-fashioned at home.
Well, so tequila helps too.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I am very excited, to have you on board, to leading the school. I think the vision is great, and I think that we're heading in the right direction. So I am very excited about the work, and I just have high hopes for the future.
Yeah, you're a great man, and you're doing a lot of work for the kids. We're not perfect. I'm sure there are blind spots, and there are things that we can improve. So if you made it this far watching this video, Javi, Mr. Nieves, and I are going to post a link at the bottom of this video. We're going to have a survey that you can click and give Mr. Nieves, myself, the school leadership feedback on what else could we do to support our kids and their social emotional development. I have really high expectations for behavior and for academics. So whatever we're doing well, please let us know. But also if you think that there is something else we could do, give us ideas, give us suggestions so we can get better. And we'll just keep being Lancers by design. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.